What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Jeremy's Point of View. Here in this episode, I wanted to do a quick little breakdown of the first round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. In particular, I wanted to discuss my favorite team, the Carolina Hurricanes, going up head-to-head with the New York Islanders here in the first round. Kind of wanted to take a look at both teams, how the seasons went, and where they stack up against each other as we head into this playoff series. So let's go ahead and dive into this. I've pulled up some stats here, some stuff that I thought was interesting, some things that I want to go over, and some ideas that I've got that I'm just going to kind of throw out there. So let's go ahead and dive in. First things first, as far as the Hurricanes and the Islanders, where they rank on things. As far as goals scored this season, the Carolina Hurricanes scored 262 goals to the New York Islanders 242 goals. That puts the Hurricanes at 15th in the league, with the Islanders 22nd in the league. Goals allowed, the Hurricanes were second in the league with 210 goals allowed, while the Islanders allowed 217, which places them at 5th in the league. Power play goals, 50 for the Carolina Hurricanes this season, which is 18th in the league. The Islanders are 32nd with 34 power play goals, and shorthanded goals allowed. The Hurricanes allowed 40, the Islanders allowed 39. That respectively puts the Islanders at second and the Hurricanes at third. Now these are just some stats to kind of look at as we head into this series. Both teams are very, very similar, and that's what really jumps off the page for me. They both play a very tough, tight, defensive game, and they score by committee. That is really the big thing, and it's been the big crutch that a lot of people have said is why the Hurricanes won't be able to win a Stanley Cup, why they will be out in the first or second round, and is the struggles with scoring. This scoring by committee, a lot of people say it's not going to work. That's not necessarily true. It could work, but you've got to get the players in line at the right time, and each game you've got to have players that are willing to pick it up, willing to take it to the next level. You've got to have guys like Sebastian Aho, Jesperi Kotkaniemi really stepping up. And also there's the elephant in the room. As great as these numbers look, these were when the Hurricanes, had Andrei Svechnikov. Now, obviously, he missed the end of the season, the last 10, 20 games, something like that. So some of these numbers can be a bit skewed. The team has definitely struggled without Andrei Svechnikov. That has been very, very clear. And at the same time, you've got the Islanders. They acquired Bo Horvat, which I think was a great move. His goal scoring has tapered off a bit since leaving the Canucks. But, the Islanders play a different kind of game than the Vancouver Canucks do. I didn't expect Bo Horvat to go over to the Islanders and continue to light things up the way he was with the Vancouver Canucks. At the same time, we can also discuss goaltending, which is something I'm going to dive into a little bit more. But both teams, they really stack up, and this is a much closer matchup than people may think. I know some Islanders fans think we're going to go in there, the Hurricanes don't have Svech, it's going to be an easy game. At the same time, the Hurricanes and our fan base really believes that this team is, it is a fantastic team. Tough, hard-nosed team. The problem is, once again, where are we going to get the consistent goals to win these games? So no matter what, this is going to be, in my opinion, an extremely close round of the playoffs. I think that this is probably going to end up going 7 games. And will the home ice advantage, play in favor to the Carolina Hurricanes? We saw last year in the playoffs, they couldn't be beat at home until finally they lost. I believe it was against the Bruins, or no, I'm sorry, it was the Rangers that knocked them out in Game 7. And, not being able to win on the road was a huge struggle. They've played much better this season on the road. What is it going to look like in the playoffs, though? Are we going to be as good at home as we were last season? And are we going to be able to pick up games and win games when we're on the road? That really did us in last season for the Carolina Hurricanes. So once again, looking at these numbers, both teams, as far as their power plays, have struggled, but the Hurricanes' power play has been much better than the Islanders in a lot of ways. And the thing I like to look at is defensively. You've got, as far as the Hurricanes' defense, players like Brent Burns, Brady Shea, who are having phenomenal seasons. The defense has really picked up the scoring when the forwards aren't doing the job. When Svechnikov went out, the defense has really been what has picked up and kept them in games and has kept consistently scoring goals. So that's big, and it's going to have to continue as we head into this playoff series. Another thing I want to look at, like I said a moment ago, is the goaltending. You've got Sorokin, who has been phenomenal for the Islanders, and we've got some shaky goaltending going on with the Hurricanes. Last year, Freddie and Antti were a fantastic pair. They did really well. Freddie got injured, and to be perfectly honest, Freddie has not looked like his last year self since that injury. You know, he looked fantastic last season. He's had moments this year, and he tends to be a bit feast or famine. He'll let in these really leaky goals, and then he'll make some amazing plays following that. So it's tough to get a read on where the goaltending should be for the Carolina Hurricanes. If I was playing GM for a day, I would probably start the series off with Antti Raanta. Raanta has played really solid. He has the best numbers out of the goalies as far as I know. And he's been more consistent. He's played really well. Last year in the playoffs, he stepped up in place of Frederik Andersen with Pyotr Kochetkov, and Raanta was absolutely stellar. At the same time, I'm a huge Pyotr Kochetkov fan. I would love to see him get the call up and get the opportunity to play in this playoff series. But I think we're going to see Freddie, Antti as the duo going into this, and most likely Brind'Amour is going to start with Frederik Andersen. But don't be surprised if things go a bit shaky if Freddie gets pulled and Antti gets placed in there in favor of Frederik Andersen. So I think as far as goaltending, the Islanders have the advantage going into this, and that can be huge when it comes to swaying which way the series goes in 7 games. As far as goals scored, it's pretty close. We're within 20 goals as far as the Islanders and the Hurricanes. And once again, both teams score by committee. Matthew Barzal is making a return to the New York Islanders. That could be very big for them in this series if he is able to start, especially if it's within game 1 or 2. His return can be big when it comes to picking up the scoring, having somebody that they can lean on to score goals, to get assists, to pick up points, and to help lead this team to a victory in the first round. Obviously, at the end of the day, me making a pick for this, I'm biased, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I'm a Hurricanes fan. My heart says Hurricanes. Statistically, logistically, looking at everything, both teams are very evenly matched. I think it's going to be a hard, tough-fought series, and I think ultimately the Hurricanes have more depth across the board. They have more players that I think can pick up the goal scoring, and I think that they're going to take it in 7 games. I think that's just how it's going to end up playing out. But do not be stunned, do not be surprised if the Islanders are able to go in there and take it and make it out of the first round and go on to the second. It would not shock me, especially with how good their goaltending has been, especially with the Bo Horvat pickup, especially with Matthew Barzal making his return. The Islanders do have a lot going for them. So in the month of April, the Islanders went 3-3, and for the month of March, let's take a peek here, they went 8-4. So they have been a bit more consistent in comparison to the Carolina Hurricanes, who have struggled a bit down the stretch. The Hurricanes have had some really good games down the stretch, and they've had some games where they've played teams where they should not lose those games. So it's going to be extremely interesting to see how this entire series plays out. Oh, at the end of the day, I'm just excited. I'm pumped. I love the Stanley Cup playoffs. I love watching all these games. I'm going to be diving in and giving you guys as much NHL content as I can as we head towards the Stanley Cup and we crown a champion this year. So I'm stoked for it all. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel continue to grow. And I will catch you guys on the next episode of Jeremy's Point of View. Until then, peace.